You probably don't need to read books at all. And if you're doing it as a vanity metric or to gain knowledge, you're probably not reading books for the right reason. So, about a week ago, I started realizing that I read books a lot. Like I read like a book a week, sometimes two if I'm bored. I just read and I read and I read. And I have a lot of knowledge in my mind. And this does make me intellectually superior in some ways, right? Even though it comes off as egoistic and I'm still learning, right? Of course, it's still a learning process. But it does make me more intellectually superior if I have more knowledge about any single topic than you do. And don't get me wrong, I do believe that learning is extremely important. But what are you learning? Because I'm reading all of this stuff. I'm getting it all in my mind, right? I'm thinking all of it through. But at some point, it's like, do I really need to read another book about like establishing habits? Like, do I need to read this book called The One Thing? Like, what will it help me with? Right? But, say for example, I'm struggling with marketing. I'm struggling with trying to figure out how to market a product to individuals, to get it out to a certain group of people so that they buy more. Then I'll start reading marketing books. And that's how it should be every single time. And that's how it should be not just with books, but with almost any single information that you get throughout your life. Think about the amount of information you consume in a day. You may watch YouTube, you may go on Twitter, you may go on Reddit, you may listen to podcasts like Andrew Huberman or Tim Ferriss, you might read a bunch of books like me. How much of it do you actually use within the day? Sure, some of it you might apply right after, right? Oh yeah, write about this, journal about this, okay, cool. But let's say for example you're reading like, I don't know, The One Thing, Good to Great. Are you running a multi-million dollar business? You don't need to read that book. Are you reading the 4 Hour Work Week? Why do you need to read the book? You don't even work a career. You're still in school. Why do you need to read the 4 Hour Work Week? If you read Deep Work, yes, that would be very important. If you read Atomic Habits, yes, very important. How to Win Friends and Influence People, yes, very important. But there are some books that are just not worth reading. Those general books, those ones that have general knowledge, I think those ones are important. I think general knowledge is very important. But I think how you should be reading or going about reading at least or gaining knowledge is that it should be called just-in-time information. So what does that mean? It means you need it just in time. Literally, the word says it. So for example, if I was struggling with marketing, like I'll go with that again. Read a book right on marketing right away. Right, grab one off the bookshelf. Okay, marketing 101. I don't know. How to market to teenagers losing their virginity. Whatever they need, right? You read all this stuff right when you need it, just in time. So if I need a marketing book, I need a sales book, or I need to figure out why I'm not working hard enough, or I need to figure out why I can't make it to the gym, I would read it when I need it. And if you do this, I bet you'll feel so bored throughout the day through not getting information that you just start working or doing something else. You would want more information because your brain craves it. Your brain thinks that more information equals more chances of survival. But in most cases, you don't need most of the information being pumped into your brain. It's the same with news. It's the same with media. It's the same with YouTube, with books, with podcasts. You don't need all of that stuff. Unless it's something that's truly going to help you in a situation you're in right now, do not read it. Because here's another thing. If you really do need it, if it's just in time for what you need, then you will read it much faster. You'll have much more efficient reading, and you'll memorize the topics in there much better. You'd understand the topics because you really need it. But if you're just reading for the sake of reading, why are you reading? It's the same with work. I don't want to go off topic too much, but work for work's sake. There's a point where you're doing a 9 to 5. You're actually only working like 2 hours in there. Most of the time you're just pretending to work. Oh yeah, email. Oh yeah, Paul sent me Paul's cheating on his wife. Okay, cool. Yeah. Messages, Slack, all this stuff, right? You make it seem like you're working. In this case, you make it seem like you're reading. You're doing something smart. Most of the time, it's mental masturbation. There's no reason for reading. Most of the time. So understand where you get your information from. Understand where you're getting all this source of information. And do you really need it at the time you're reading it for? If you can justify it, truly justify it without using your brain as an excuse, then yes, read it. But if you can't justify it for anything, if you're reading a book on Good to Great, building $1 million company, you're broke. You're working at 9 to 5. You don't even work. You live with your parents. You're in college. What are you gonna build $1 million business? Get out of here, bro. Like, stop reading the books you don't need. Stop consuming information media that you don't need. Get off of it. Consume what you need. You don't need media. You don't need news. Get off of it. Andrew Tate got arrested. Okay, cool. Why do you need to know that? Figure out what it is, then remove it.